according to John Delafield Jr., an inquiry into the origin of the antiquities of America, published in 1839, he tends to think tradition carries the possession of this country by the Tartar nation back to the earliest days of the peopling of the world, yet we know their ancestors built them not. But also in the museum at St. Petersburg are preserved a multitude of vessels, diadems, weapons, military trophies, ornaments of dress, coins, etc., which have been found in the Tartarian tombs in Siberia. Frequent memorials are found there of ancient grandeur, magnificence, and culture, of which some are of an antiquity demonstrably above 1,000 years. And it just never stops. Before the Great Inundation, which took place 4,800 years after the creation of the world, the country of Anuhak, Mexico, was inhabited by giants. So a lot of people like to throw around the theory of Tartarian nation being worldwide. This book says it's so. Chinese Tartary, Russian Tartary, Mongolian Tartary, and then America's native people, the denizens, true denizens of this nation, were Tartarian people. They had Tartarian mounds. They had tumuli, they called them. In Russia, all the stuff they found in these Tartarian tombs and these structures that dated back before them 1,000 years. So their ancestors didn't even build it. It was before them. And this history just goes on and on and on. But it's all the main areas of the world have some form of Tartar attached to them. All of them.
So if you're involved in the science game and you're indoctrinated and you don't believe in the flat realm, this is what you believe happens to light when the sun goes over the curve. Now, if I told you the sun was nothing but a perspective illusion and it didn't go over the curve, I know you wouldn't believe me. But would you believe Google? The sun going over the curve. When we say the sun going over the curve, it refers to the visual perception of the sun appearing to descend behind the Earth's horizon at sunset, creating the illusion of the sun going over the curve due to the Earth's curvature. Even though the sun itself is not actually curving, it's simply our perspective from the Earth's surface that makes it appear that way. So let me just reiterate, they believe that the light bends and that there is a magical force making it bend. And once again, that is just not true. It is just an illusion of perception from the further it goes away from our line of sight. You still not believe me? Are you still imbounded by science? Well, check this out.
This is a quick magic trick called angular resolution. There's no quarter on the table. You can't see one. It's a flat table too, I promise you. But watch what happens when I apply a little technological magic. There it is, in full view.
Flat table.
Watch as it disappears from the bottom of
But it
this eye.
disappears from our perspective because of the further distance it goes away. And it's gone. Sight perception, also known as visual perception, is the ability to interpret what we see using light. It's a complex process that involves the eyes, optic nerve, and brain. This road is not higher up there than it is here. It's the same height, but it goes higher due to perception. Now, with the fact it goes higher, smaller, and thinner, that's because it's disappearing from our line of sight. Now, this field at the top is not higher than this field at the bottom. It just moves to the line of perception. Now, if there was clouds there, they wouldn't be touching the ground. They would be as high in the sky as the clouds here. But our line of perception makes it disappear. So let me just think, where in the world do we have millions and millions of miles of a flat surface? That's right, the sea. And there it is, guys. Our line of sight is only about 3 miles long. Boat clouds don't disappear over the horizon and curve. They just lose sight, lose perception. If we just try for 1 second to ignore everything we've been programmed to believe, physically in our life, all we can ever experience is geocentrism. And we have had no choice but to believe the heliocentric model because it's been programmed in us from birth. Our natural senses don't lie to us. That's what they're here for. We see as we see, we feel as we feel. The heliocentric model is nothing but fiction. And our experience without NASA is just a beautiful geocentric model made by our beautiful almighty creator that has put us here to be safe and live a beautiful life. If I told you guys that this beautiful waterfall right here could defy gravity and start magically flowing upwards, would you think I'm crazy? The answer is yes. But why does NASA do the exact same thing and everyone believes it? This river right here is the longest flowing river in the world at 4,187 miles long. The River Nile. Now this river flows from south to north. Now to put that in concept, this river is flowing 4,187 miles upwards, up the ball. We literally live in a world where the majority of people are programmed to be ignorant to common sense. No one can deny that water has to flow downwards. It never flows upwards, up the ball. It's a little bit equal to the fact that we've never landed here, and it's not even a rock. There is an undoubtable amount of evidence that we can prove of living under a dome in an enclosed system where everything works perfectly under the power of our creator. And there is no proof that we can physically do in our realm ever to prove water sticking to a ball spinning round in a vacuum of space and infinity. Are we really spinning at 1,000 miles an hour? And I know science always has an explanation, like relative velocity, and the reason why helicopters don't take in count for rotation is because of inertia, which apparently is a natural tendency of objects in motion, like planes over the clouds. They don't take in Earth's rotation because of inertia. And even if you jump out of said plane, you will not be affected by the Earth's rotation because of relative velocity. And obviously anything in the sky is just relative to velocity, so they don't have to care about the Earth's rotation. It just doesn't matter. And even if you take that big leap from space, the Earth's rotation will not affect you. No matter how hard I try to look, I cannot find proof of the Earth's rotation if you take away scientific explanations that we cannot prove ourselves. And we just have to accept anomalies and explanations just because they tell us. Would anybody like to join me in my little brainstorm right now? If the centre of our Earth is made out of molten lava, which is liquid fire, then how is the depths of our ocean freezing? Like, literally let that sink in. Middle of the Earth hot, bottom of the ocean cold. There's another little confusion of life that it reminds me of. But once again, middle of the Earth hot, bottom of the ocean cold. Hey Jack, have you never watched a movie before? Of course, rockets just go straight up. They shoot straight up into our atmosphere and then they go to places like the moon. You idiot. Well, that's what I used to think, but have you seen the actual trajectory of the rockets that go up into space? Because they don't half resemble something I like to talk about quite a lot, if you get what I mean. Uno comprende? Me no understande? Truth in plain sight? We live in an enclosed system that's totally stationary and beautifully created by our divine creator. And there is not one bit of science on this realm that can prove me otherwise. Just go out and experience what your eyes can see. We're not moving. It's not curved. And we've been lied to.
Are you still defending that the Earth is flat?